Hello guys and welcome to the video. So today we're going to be doing level 5 of the Griffon's Second Awakening dungeon. Now before we get into the fight and we start showing off teams and all that, we're going to go look at the strategy info so you guys have an idea of what's even happening during this video. Just in case, because I always at least want to try to give you guys a good understanding, give you an idea of what I was thinking when building these teams. So without further ado, let's get into the strategy info. So the first thing we're going to notice is that we're going to be facing Bernard, a wind unit, which means the entire stage is going to be wind. So something that you can do when you first enter is that you can use fire units just in case you feel like you're taking a bit too much damage. Use the attribute advantage. So you're taking less damage and you're dealing more damage. You're landing your debuffs more. Just something to take into consideration. But let's actually get into the boss itself. So Bernard, on his third skill, increases the attack bar of all allies by 30% and also increases their attack speed for 2 turns. On his second skill, he attacks the enemy with a body slam and weakens their attack power and defense for 2 turns. The damage increases according to your attack speed. His first skill attacks the enemy with the razor sharp claws and decreases the attack bar by 15% with an 80% chance. Damage increases according to your attack speed. So one thing to note when we are facing off in any Second Awakening dungeon, that the crystals that you're going to also face in the dungeon tend to revolve around the boss. So more likely than anything, this is going to be a dungeon that has to do with attack speed. The attack speed of the enemies really do matter. So let's actually take a look. So the left crystal, the de-acceleration crystal, attacks the enemy and absorbs their attack bar by 15%. Attacks up to 6 times according to the crystal's attack speed. And the right crystal, removal acceleration crystal, attacks all enemies 2 times to remove their beneficial effects with a 50% chance each. Increase the attack bar for all allies by 10% for each beneficial effect removed. Okay, so now that we've gone over everything, let's talk strategy. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be attacking that crystal on the right, this removal acceleration crystal. The reason we're going to do this is because that left crystal, even though it says it absorbs the attack bar by 15%, if you have immunity, which you can get from Lulu or Fraun, which I prefer Fraun. You should be going with Fraun because Lulu's water and you don't want him to get hyper-focused. He can't absorb the attack bar. You will not lose your attack bar. So all you're doing is really receiving the hits from this left crystal. But if we were to aim for the left crystal, that right crystal is going to strip all of us. And not only that, it's going to pretty much give the allies or his allies or whatever another turn. So it is it is our priority that we aim for that right crystal. After that, we could aim for the boss, but we still can't guarantee a run. We're going to be taking tons of damage. So we're going to go right crystal, left crystal, then the boss. Bernard is not going to be doing too much damage, and depending on even who you're bringing, if you're bringing Spectra can slow Bernard and that left crystal down. It can slow everyone down, which means you'll be taking less damage, but you can also bring Lauren. Lauren has slows. There are a lot of units that have slows, but Bernard is not going to be doing tons of damage. He can do a decent chunk, but he's not as bad as the crystals. We got to take care of the crystals first, then go for Bernard. So let's get into the first team. Okay, so here we are with the first team. This first team is Verd, Fraun, and Lauren, and then you can bring the Griffon of your choice. I'm going to bring Bernard, because, well, Bernard is not 2A'd yet, so this should be more realistic for some people. Now, why is this such a good team? Verd has an amazing leader skill, 28% at the speed lead. When we're already facing off against units or enemies that are going to be based off of speed, they're going to be boosting each other's attack bars and be going really fast. We want to make sure we're taking as many turns as possible as well. Fraun, she has the immunity, the attack buff, and the heals. Plus, she has, a little bit of attack bar reduction and an attack break on her first skill. You got Lauren with the attack bar reduction, which is going to help us prevent that right crystal from moving. She's got the debuffs. She's got the defense break. Going to help us do more damage. And then the Griffon doesn't necessarily matter. If you have Spectra, it's probably going to make this the easiest. But I brought Bernard, so this should work. Let's go in and let's do this first run. Now, one thing I do want you guys to note is that obviously your monsters should be tanky. They should be 6-starred. I don't think this really needs to be mentioned. I mean, this is a very high level dungeon. I mean, this is literally the final level. This is going to be the hardest stage. You're talking about level 72 monsters. You can already see Thrawn was taking a beating, and I think my Thrawn is pretty well runed. She's not the best runed Thrawn, but she's pretty good. So, make sure your monsters are tanky. That is definitely one thing I do want to just make sure you guys understand that. But the wave shouldn't really be a big deal, regardless. Obviously, if you had Spectra should be able to easily clear this wave, or help you clear these, because Spectra is bringing the AoE attack breaks, the attack bar reductions, the slows. Bernard, all he's really doing is giving us a boost. I mean, and I guess like the defense breaks, but it's like nothing that Lauren and Thrawn couldn't do themselves. So it kind of does help to be able to get out more turns with Bernard, though. The second stage should be absolutely nothing to us, though. And it's just like, this team, it's like, you can use this in a majority of these 2A stages. It's just, again, Verd is pushing out so many turns. You're getting out tons of heals, tons of damage. Lauren is preventing those units from moving. And Thrawn is healing, giving you immunity and all that, which is important. Because look at that, we have slows on us, which immunity would definitely help. Though she's doing it last second, which sucks. My Verd is built a bit on damage, but whatever. So you see here, we're preventing that right crystal from moving. Last thing we want is for it to be boosting turns like it just did. But with Spectra, of course, this would be much easier. Again, I assume, and I keep mentioning Spectra because I assume a majority of people are going to be using Spectra. Spectra should be most people's second 2A. Like, this should be most people's second monster that their second awakening. So, it's just, I mention him a lot because I know that's what people's second monster is going to be. So this should be way easier, should be way faster, especially with Spectra's big damage on his second skill. This run is only so slow. Well, it's slow because we're going with a safe team. And Bernard doesn't have damage on him like Spectra does. But now we got this pretty much in the bag. I'll let me in editing speed this up. And there we go. This usually takes, about 3 minutes. The longest I've ever seen it take is 6 minutes. And I know that's a long time for a lot of people, but there's just so many benefits to doing level 5, which I guess what I'll do is I'll put the information on screen somewhere right now. That shows you how much XP you're getting and how many like runs it takes to completely second awaken a unit. And level 5 is really the only stage that you can do under 100 energy to actually fully secondary awaken a monster. So like level 4 will take like, I think it's like 112, 113 or something. I'm probably close enough. And it's just like the lower the level, the more runs it takes. So it's just, that's why level 5 is so important. And I'd rather take 2-3 extra more minutes to do that stuff. But again, I don't think I need to explain it to you. If you're trying to do level 5, then you already understand why we're doing it. So let's go look at their runes. Starting off with Verd. I'm just going to call him Verd, as I always do. I don't know why I attempted to say his full name. This is my Verd. He's speed crit damage attack. When you first start off in the game, you really do want to go speed crit rate HP. You want him to be super tanky. But if you start farming more and more, and you can afford to give him more like damage like runes, then go ahead and do that. I think that will help make the runs a lot faster. But if you're losing and your Verd is just dying super easy, make him tanky. Not that he's dying in here. He's going to be one of the last units to be targeted because of his attribute advantage. But yeah. You see, here he has HP and defense. Let's go to Thrawn. Now, my Thrawn is not too fast. She has a decent amount of attack. She has a decent amount of HP. Here her runes. Speed, attack, HP. There you go. There's her artifacts. These are basic artifacts. You can get them anywhere. anywhere. Well, you can only get them in one place, but point being is these are common. And then Lauren, she has a lot of defense. She's pretty fast, has a lot of defense, speed, defense. Wait. Holy crap. What? Oh, she's getting HP in the subs. That's why I was like, what is happening? Okay. She takes tons of damage. That's actually not that bad. And then of course, Bernard, just in case you guys are wondering, I do believe that if you're going to bring a monster and you're trying to second awaken them, for some reason, I don't know why people would do this, make sure they're awakened, make sure they're 6-starred. I mean, you're going to be using them anyways. Don't bring level 5s in here. I've already talked about the massive stat difference between level 5s and level 6. I'll probably talk about it again in some other video. But there is massive differences in terms of HP, attack, and defense, which means you're going to lose at these level 5 stages if you fail to, awaken them and evolve them and give them their artifacts, because the artifacts do matter. So let's actually get into the next team. So this is the next team right here. Now let me explain this team before some of you are just like, excuse me, what is this? So again, with Verd, we already know what Verd does. He's going to help boost turns. We have Sath. He's going to be helping us deal dots and just help us get past the wave in general. Colleen is going to be there for the heals and the attack buff, and Bernard is just there. Of course, if you bring Spectra, again, it's going to be easier because Bernard here is going to be hyper-focused in these waves. We're going to see that he's going to get targeted a lot because the enemy's wind and the wind units are not going to attack the fire units. But, yeah, so let's get into here. One thing I do like, I will mention, by the way, let's do one thing. We'll do that. Is that, again, I'm trying to use units that you guys will continue to use throughout your stay in Summoner's War. Sath, I don't have to explain. You're using Sath because you have the Sath tattoo team. That's exactly why I brought him. I mean, yes, because of dots. But I know some of y'all are starting off with a Sath tattoo team, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on to dragons, and I'm building Spectra, and that's why I'm trying to do the Griffon 2A. Here, you can use Sath here again. His dots are going to help you guys clear waves. Now, again, it's not exactly the most fastest, but if you're trying to do level 5, it totally works here. Colleen is a unit you'll totally use. You'll use her in places like Necro. You'll use her in a couple of the beasts. So, and I believe some people still use her. Oh yeah, no, she's definitely still used in R5. And I think she's using BG R5 if I'm not wrong. But I don't need to explain why you would use Verd. And if you guys want to for some reason hear about Bernard, I'll make a video on him eventually. But yeah, you'll use all these units still. So it's not like I'm getting you guys to build units that you'll just never ever use again. You'll totally use these guys. Not all the time, but you'll use them. You'll for sure use them. So, me and editing will speed this up. Okay, so now we're at the final stage. I do want to explain something. I did in the beginning, if you notice, I did change... Oh, no. I did change who we're targeting the crystals because it is not necessary for us to attack that right crystal. It will boost turns if it does strip us of debuffs, buffs. So the only buffs we're going to really have is Colleen's attack buff and maybe like Bernard's speed buff. But now we're facing, the big damage that left crystal has to offer. And we don't want that, so we're aiming for this left crystal first. We do not want the sucker doing all that damage. So we want to take that thing out as quick as possible. The dots will hopefully be a lifesaver here. Bernard is just tanking like a beast. He's dead though. He's totally dead. But you see, you guys are noticing one thing, right? Is that these fire units are totally tanking like beasts. They're able to take a bit of a beating. But we should be completely fine. Bernard is not going to kill us. But again, that's also, by the way, why you would bring a tanky Verd. My Verd is just not tanky enough for it. But these dots are totally helping us. And we win. That was actually the first time I saw a Verd die on one of these runs. I do want to note one thing before we get into the showing the runes on these guys. Is that if you can't do level 5, if for some reason you're still dying when doing level 5, there's nothing wrong with doing level 4. With level 4, you should be able to beat it really, really easy. Because I at least want you guys, if you can't do level 5, at least do level 4. Level 4 and level 5 are completely fine. I think the only place where you're starting to waste dimensional hole energy is like level 3, 2, and 1, because you're just not getting a ton. And again, I'll put it up on screen again. It's just you guys will see how many runs it takes to completely second awaken a unit. And it's just like levels 1, 2, and 3 are just, they're using so many runs that it at the rate at which energy refreshes and all that stuff, it's just like, it's going to take you guys forever. And if any of you are trying to be like super efficient, it's just like at the very least level 4 and 5 are as efficient as you can get. So if you can't beat this for some reason, if you're struggling, levels 4 and 5 completely work. There's no shame in that. But again, it's like you see, it's like this is at 50 minutes. It gives you 1 energy every 2 hours. It almost takes an entire week. I think it takes a little bit over a week. I can't remember, to completely refresh energy. So it's just like, you don't want to have to wait a long time. But let's get to the runes of these units. I already showed you guys Verd's runes, so I'm not going to show you Verd's, but I will show you Sath and Colleen's runes. Sath is not anything too special. Speed, HP, accuracy. God, I didn't think that I had grinded that rune. What did I grind it from? Okay, you know, whatever. Here you go. Again, I tried. When you notice that I tried to aim for at least like two or three of the substats that I would need on these units. So speed, accuracy, yada yada. He's really accurate, obviously really tanky. Here's his artifacts. Nothing special. I say nothing special, then look at his additional damage. Additional damage by 38. It's still nothing special. A pro player is looking at that and they're like, oh, that's garbage. It's Colleen. Again, nothing too crazy. Speed, HP, HP. And I noticed she has a bit of defense on her. No artifacts. If she had artifacts, I guarantee you that run would be super safe. It wouldn't even look as dangerous as it did in that last bit. But those are the runes on these units. And without further ado, just to show you, it's like I actually use these teams quite a few times. It's like I had them on 10 times repeat. Let's get Bernard to aid. Never mind. Oh, he needs 1. Okay, he needs 1. Let's get this done. Let's see. Please tell me I have Griffon 2As. Please, or Griffon skill ups. Oh, thank God. Oh, good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Let's get him to 8. Let's get him to 8. There we go. Oh, he looks so beautiful. And now he looks even more handsome. He has so much defense. God, what is he on again? Defense HP? Huh. He's tanky. He's fast. I love it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye.